In this video, I'm going to show you step by step how to create this amazing Coach AI app completely for free. We're going to use Google's Firebase Studio, which right now is completely free to use. And for the backend, we're going to use our n8n AI agent, which you can use completely for free, again, using localhost. This is going to be a really nice app where you can interact with it directly from a nice landing page that, again, we're going to be using Firebase to build. It'll have like a nice chat interface where you can get career coaching that our AI agent in the backend will process using access to the internet. And then also we can add multiple tools to make this even more powerful. So make sure you stick around till the end because you're going to learn a lot. And again, all of this is going to be free. I'm going to walk you through step by step. So without any further delay, let's jump right into the video. All right, so I'm going to start with a quick demo. We're going to see the front end information being sent from the landing page in the front end that we built using Firebase Studio. And then we're going to receive this information to our back end where our AI agent will process it and send that information back to our front end. So I'm going to go ahead and bring this workflow over. I'm going to go to my community, deep dive sessions. And if I scroll down to the full stack web apps, I believe it was, was this one, create AI app for free with Firebase. So if I scroll down, I'm just going to quickly bring in this blueprint, download, go to my n8n workflow, import from file. Okay, perfect. So this is essentially just an AI agent that's listening via a webhook to the front end that for information that will be coming in, right? So this is going to grab that information via post request in the body, and it's going to go ahead and process this. Let me zoom in a little bit. Process the information, and it has access to SERP API as a tool. So that way it needs to access to the internet. Then it will just use the SERP API tool and respond back. So it's a very simple agent. I just want to show you the connection, how you can build something in the front end via Firebase and how you can interact with it in the back end via n8n. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Get Coaching now. So here's where we can type a message. So now I'm going to go ahead and make sure that the n8n is good to go. I mean, the webhook is good to go here. Yep. So I'm just going to click on test workflow. So now this is going to be listening for that information that will be coming in. So I'm just going to start with just saying hello to see if this works. So now if we go back, there you go. So that this AI agent processed it. So if I go to the bottom here, you'll see at the body, it says hello, right? So now we're going to go ahead and see what the response was here. It says, hello again, how can I help you today, right? And in the front end, it says, hello again, how can I help you today? So I'm just going to say, I want to switch careers to AI or something like that. Before I press enter, I'm going to click on test workflow again. So that way you can see the process. So I'm going to click on send. And now this is the AI agent is going to process this. And it's going to send that information back via the webhook. And if I go to the front, there you go, to switch careers to AI, first focus on developing a solid understanding of programming language, blah, 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 right? So again, this information is directly coming in from our AI agent right here. So if you zoom in, you'll see this response matches exactly this. And this is how you can go back and forth and interact with the system. And because this has an attached memory right here, it will remember your past interactions. So that way it's very natural, just like a ChatGPT would. And you can make this as powerful as possible. You can add additional tools. We can add like vector databases where you can have very specific data that will be sitting inside this AI agent that it can have access to. And we'll do that in a little bit too, if we have time at the end, so that way I can show you exactly what other tools you can add. All right, so now that you've seen the demo, let's go ahead and build this thing out. Again, we're not going to build the exact same web interface or the landing page. We'll make it a little different so that way it's a bit more fun and it's a bit more unique. And then I'll show you exactly how to build if you want the exact same user interface there as well. All of the resources for this particular app and all the different apps that I've created before is available inside the deep dive topics inside the school community, including all this deep dive topic full stack web app series where we go ahead and dig deeper into how to build full stack apps with Lovable, Supabase, Cursor, and then also other stuff as well. Our deep dive topic series kind of goes through the different topics like all things AI agents, when to use AI agents for what purpose, voice AI agents, where I walk through step by step how to create, give you an introduction on all these different complex topics, vector databases, and of course full stack web apps, and then also MCP as well. Our classroom section in our community is full of amazing things, including all of the AI automations that I have built, all of the resources, the prompts, the code, the blueprint, everything is available inside our school community. We also have a calendar section where we have almost daily calls with live builds, co-builds, business strategy, tech support, vibe coding, and we have an amazing group of people who are all there and passionate about learning how to build amazing AI agents. We have over 1,000 members now who are all passionate about building AI agents with n8n and other automation tools as well. Regardless of your background, majority of the people here are have no tech background, so if you want to build and you're serious about learning how to build AI agents and automation, make sure you join the community. I'm going to put the link in the description. Hopefully I'll see you inside. All right, let's get back to the video. All right, so let me go ahead and get rid of this now. I'm going to delete this and start fresh. So now what you need to do is you need to head over. So I have the link here on top. You're going to click on create a Firebase Studio account. So if I just click on this, or you can just go to studio.firebase.google.com, and when you log in, this will bring you to right here in this space. Your workspace, so I've already built a couple here. You're allowed 3 before it asks you to create a Google developer account, but you can play around with it, and if you need furthermore, you can create a Google developer account. All right, so the first thing is we need to make sure we're starting with a really solid prompt, right? I always say, just like I mentioned in my previous videos when we were building front ends with Lovable or Cursor, you need to start with a good foundation prompt. And the way to do that, you can utilize ChatGPT or Claude and go back and forth, because you want to give some kind of a structure for the app that you're building. And then you can go back and forth with Firebase or Lovable or whatever no-code tool you're using. I've already created that, so I'm just going to go to my community here in this section and grab this, because this is the exact same thing I use for Lovable. But I also have a universal prompt generator, so that way you can utilize this to insert your n8n webhook. So I'm just going to copy this for now, because this is for this Coach AI. And I'm going to come here and paste this. So it just has, again, you can pause and take a look at this and build it out yourself. But essentially you're giving it a foundation for the app that you want to build. You're going to give it a key features. You're going to give how it works, and then the webhook communication. This is very, very important, because you want to make sure that the communication occurs via webhook, and this is where you would insert that webhook URL. The way to get this, you're going to go to your blank n8n workflow. You're going to click on your first step. The first step is always going to be a trigger, and in our case we're going to be utilizing our webhook because we're listening for an event that's occurring outside n8n. Therefore we're going to use a webhook trigger. So I'm just going to search for webhook. All right, so this is your general webhook trigger. You'll have a test URL and production URL. If you're using this in production, then make sure you're inputting the proper URL here. The important thing is you want to make sure you're changing the HTTP from get to post, because by default it will just go to get, because we're sending this information back and forth via the body of the JSON, so the post request is the correct one to use. The path, it comes in naturally as kind of this gibberish, but you can change it to anything that's to make it a bit more simple. I'm just going to put my name. And as you can see on top, it changes the URL here. Authentication, you leave as none. Respond in the beginning, you'll just leave it as immediately, and then later on we're going to change this. So for now, this is good to go. So I'm just going to click on test URL here and just copy this. And as you can see in the bottom right here, it says URL copied. Okay, so now we're going to switch to our Firebase Studio again. And here's where I will get rid of this and paste my webhook. All right, so when I put that URL here, now what I'm going to do is click on prototype with AI. And what this is going to do is this is going to get started kind of on the foundation and give us like a prototype with the, these details that we actually gave it. So like a blueprint essentially. And then it's going to ask us to, if you want to make any changes. And then once we make changes, then we can go ahead and prototype this app. So here's the blueprint. You can click on this little pencil, and here's where you can make additional changes on this initial blueprint, right? So for example, I can just change this app from career something AI to just Coach AI. And then you can also, like the core features, the style guidelines, you can change anything you want because everything here is editable. But I'm just going to use, click on save now. And this is going to save that additional details that we provided or the edits that we made. And it's going to click, next I'm going to click on prototype this app. So what this is going to do is now it's going to create kind of the foundation of this particular app based on this blueprint right here. It's going to create all the source files. It's going to create all the code. And then we can go ahead afterwards and interact with this back and forth if you want to make any changes, whether that's in the landing page or anything related to kind of the look and feel. And then also if we run into kind of any issues interacting with the backend with N8N, then we can use this, front end kind of builder to change those things. So let's go ahead and let this thing build. Okay, perfect. So it looks like it created this nice little landing page. It says discover your purpose and build your dream career. See, it's really nice. It's got a nice little front end. And once we click on get started, it will, but before I do that, on the right hand side, it sees that, let me move this a little bit here. So it appears that your app needs a Gemini API key. The great thing is you can just click on auto generate here. So once I do that, it's going to generate an API key automatically because you've already had logged into your account, and then it will be able to interact with, and then you'll be able to interact with this app to make any changes. So let's just go ahead and let this generate a Gemini API key. And then we can click on get started and then figure out if we want to make any changes there. All right, perfect. So it says Gemini API key updated, right? So this looks great. So let's go ahead and click on get started. So it looks like when I click on get started, nothing happens. And then also in the bottom, this is talk to an AI coach. So that's where that's clickable, right? So you can now say, hey, if I click on get started, nothing is changing. So I'll go back here. By the way, there's like a little button here that you can click on going back or refresh the app here, and it will bring you back to your home page here. So get started is not working, but talk to AI coach is working. So that's fine. We can change that later on. For now, you can see you can enter your career query here. So let's go ahead and just go back here and click on test workflow. Let's make sure that this is working, and then we can come back and change that button. So I'm just going to click on hello. So let's go ahead and send this and see if we're receiving it. And there you go. Perfect, right? So we're receiving this information via the webhook in the body. It says input hello. All right, so we're good to go. It looks like we are communicating back and forth with our N8N here. So now, oops, this was the one that I built. So let's go ahead. So it's a little tweaking here, but that's fine. We can change that. So let's go back here, refresh the page. So now I'm going to go ahead and add our AI agent here. So I'm just going to add an AI agent. AI agent. All right, perfect. So that's good to go. Let's give it a chat model. I'm just going to use OpenAI. I'm going to use 4 mini is fine, to be honest. Okay, memory, we can give it a buffer memory, a simple memory. Actually, well, now let's not give it a memory. Then we can come back and change this later on. For tool, I'm just going to give it a SERP API. SERP API. And again, this just gives it the ability to have access to the internet. So we're good to go there. If you don't know, it's very simple to create your SERP API. They give you a free account. So create an account, add your credentials, very, very simple. All right, so now inside AI agent, we need to change the prompt because we need to have the prompt come in from the front end via the webhook, right? So as you can see right here, it says connected chat trigger note. Instead of that, we're going to change it to define below. And we're literally going to come right here to the body and grab this input, right? So I'm just going to drag this right here. And this is where now we are interacting with the front end because every information that's sent or every query, every question is going to be sent to us from the body of that webhook request. And that's exactly what we're putting here. So now we're good to go. Another very important thing, because if we want to now respond back to the front end, we need to add another webhook node, but this time it needs to be respond to the webhook. So I'm just going to search for respond. And if you see right here, it says respond to webhook. So this is what we're going to have, where now this AI agent, the output will go out to respond to webhook, and this is going to send that information back. Very important stuff. You want to go inside your webhook, the trigger, and change the respond from immediately to using respond to webhook node, because this says insert a respond to webhook node to control when and how to respond. So what this is going to do is now, instead of responding immediately, it's going to respond via this webhook right here. Okay, so we're good to go here. Let's just double check, make sure everything is good. Yep. And then another important thing, this respond when, instead of first incoming item, I'm going to change this to JSON. I did this when I was doing this with Lovable. I could select all incoming items and it was working fine, but for some reason the Google Firebase Studio doesn't work. We have to actually identify the respond body. So you're going to get rid of what's inside here, the placeholder. I'm going to go back to my community here, and in the bottom, I'm saying webhook respond code instructions, right? So I'm just going to literally copy this, not the whole thing, just this, and we'll paste this in the Firebase. But for now, I'm just going to copy this and paste it over here. Okay, paste. Right, this is very simple, just on our JSON file. And again, if I just do this to make it look nicer, there you go. Right, so we're just getting respond string. Right now, instead of string, what we're gonna do is get rid of this, and then now we're gonna grab the output of our AI agent right here. Right, so now let's go ahead and send some kind of output, and we'll come back and take a look at this in a little bit. So let me test the workflow again. I'm gonna go back here, talk to Coach AI. Hello, send, and there you go. Now it's processing it. Respond to webhook, perfect. So now we can grab the output here and bring it right here. Right? Oops, I think I messed that up. I completely deleted this. So let me go back, bring this, copy, paste. And try to make this nice and pretty. Okay, go. So instead of the string, we're gonna grab the output of the AI agent and drop it right in the middle. There you go, perfect, right? So this is going to be what is going to be the output that we're gonna send and respond to via this webhook. All right, so that looks good. So now let's go ahead and delete this. That way we're ready to go here. Inside the AI agent, I'm gonna give this a little system prompt. I'm going to say helpful assistant, respond with, I can't spell, respond with, oh my god, with 3 short sentences, because otherwise it's going to respond in a very long way. And then I'm going to say use the SERP API tool to research information if needed. Okay, perfect. So now we're good to go here. So now let's go ahead and add one more thing to the front end. So here I'm going to go, and this time I'm just going to copy this whole thing. So we need to tell our Google Firebase to respond from the webhook, or respond to the user here. We'll fix this in a little bit. I don't know why it's tweaking. We're going to tell it the API response from the webhook will be formatted like this, right? Response string, please display the response back to the user. So that's what we're identifying and telling it that instead of you doing whatever from your own system, make sure you're responding from the response that's coming in from our NADN here. And the reason why we're saying string is because every response from the output of this AI agent is going to be some kind of a sentence or some kind of a string, right? So that's what we're doing here. So now I'm just gonna press enter here. So what this is gonna do is this is gonna update the user interface here and then update the files, as you can see, to make sure that it's able to absorb that response from the webhook that will be coming in, right? So now it looks like everything's good to go. So I'm just going to click on talk to the AI agent again. Let me test workflow here. And this time I'm going to say, how do I switch careers to AI or something like that? I'm just going to click on send. Let's make sure there you go. So now it's processing it using SERP API, and now it's going to respond back to via the webhook. So respond from here. It says to switch career to AI, start by gaining foundational knowledge in programming. Okay. Let's see if we go here now. There you go. Perfect. To switch careers to AI, start by gaining foundational knowledge in programming, particularly Python, blah, blah, blah. Right. So it looks like everything is working perfectly fine here. And then now what we can do is now we can add additional information if we want. So for example, if we go refresh the page, if you want to change any of the look and feel, if you want to change the get started or talk to an AI coach, you can just essentially very easily interact with this. And then also, let's say if you want to change the look and feel, you can go back. So for example, you can say, hey, I want to change the look and feel for it to look like this, right? And you can just take that screenshot and then add it to the front end and say, hey, change this look and feel. Very, very simple. The same thing, you can add this get started button, say it's not clickable, or talk AI coach, or whatever. Maybe you can make very easily changes just by going back with it back and forth. So that way you can customize it. But I just wanted to make sure I show you that this is what's possible. And now on your AI agent, you can add additional tools here, right? So for example, you can add vector databases. So if you want to listen for something particular, you can add that and have that interaction being done from here. You can also add a memory. So if you want to add a simple memory, the important thing is you need to change this from the connected trigger to defined below. And you can add some kind of a session ID. So you can go back to your Google Firebase and say, hey, add a unique session ID for each interaction. So that way you can grab that. But for now, I'm just going to use some kind of a IP address or something. Let's see. I'm just going to use this real IP, so that way at least it has some kind of identification, and now it should be able to respond easily and remember that interaction just like with a simple memory. Okay, very, very simple, very easy to follow, and you can definitely go ahead and make changes and add additional tools and make this AI agent even more powerful. Okay, so let's go ahead and now test this thing out again. I'm going to first change this get started and say the get started button is not working when I click on it. Okay, let's see what it does. Again, this doesn't mean that this is the best way to prompt it, but I'm just gonna show you how easy it is to just interact with it regardless of what prompt you're giving, as long as obviously it makes sense and you can it understands exactly what you're talking about. So now if I click on get started, there you go. Now it's bringing me to this chat. So it looks like that got fixed. So if I refresh the page here, this time go back and click on get started, and this should bring me to the chat there. Oh, I didn't click properly. There you go. Right. So very simple. As you can see, it's very easy and very user friendly as far as interacting with how you can change things when things are not working. All right. So if you want to change the look and feel, so I'm going to this time just use a screenshot and literally say change. Add this and say change the UI of the landing page like the attached. I'm going to press enter, and now it should have access to, whoops, that didn't work. Let me do this again. There you go. Go back, attach. Change the landing page UI like the attached. I think it's still, there you go. Press enter. So now it's just gonna go ahead and absorb that screenshot and hopefully make changes according to what we presented here with the screenshot. And obviously it might not work the first time. It might give you like a little bit of a messed up design based on the description, but you can see, as you can see, it's not working exactly like this, but that's fine. It can give you a good kind of foundation. Again, same thing, right? And then now you can go back and say, hey, no, I don't like this edge here on the left hand side, update that. But the proper functionality looks like it's working still, because I can click on this get coaching now and it's using this query here. So if I same thing, just to test it again to make sure it didn't break anything. So let me go ahead and test workflow, press enter. And it looks like everything is working. And the front end looks good. So now if I reload the page, it should have that Coach AI and this kind of elevate your growth journey just based on our screenshot that we provided. And like I said, you can go back and forth and change anything that doesn't seem right. So for example, if I click on Talk Expert, right, it's taking me here. But if you have any kind of tweaks that you need to make, feel free to do that. Okay. All right. Well, hopefully you found this helpful. Again, you can see that with Coach AI with Firebase Studio, it's very simple to build. And the great thing about this is that all of this is free. So that's what makes it even more powerful. And I'm pretty sure that Firebase Studio, because kind of this is their first iteration, it's going to keep getting better and better. So this is kind of their first iteration. I'm sure it will be even more powerful down the line and make it even more user friendly. All right. Well, thanks for watching. Hopefully you found that helpful. Make sure to subscribe, because I've got a lot of great content coming up. And again, make sure you join the school community if you haven't, because that's where we can interact with our like-minded individuals, create amazing things together, and learn about AI agents. Thanks for watching again. I'll see you on the next one.